Hi there, I'm Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today's tutorial is about the petal stitch and my petal stitch baby blanket that I was able to make out of it. I will be showing you in this little tutorial the 7 rows that you will need to learn, and then that repeat, and then obviously you change color after, well, I'll show you. And then I will be giving you my hints on how I squared this blanket up. Each end will have a little bit of different technique because obviously you can see the blanket ended with little semicircles, so we needed to fill those in order to get it squared up. All right, thank you everyone for coming by. If you're seeing this on my blog, you've got all the details already about the pattern, but if you're seeing this on YouTube, I will put all the links in the comments or the description below, and you should be easy to find it. In case not, my website is daisyfarmcrafts.com. So I hope you'll stop by and come and see all what I call my grandma in training baby blankets. All right, thank you. Okay, so first of all, I just want to let you know that the yarn I'm using is called Bernat Baby Sport. I'm using it in baby gray, and this is called Peach Blossom, and then I also have white. This is a project that is sponsored by Yarnspirations that I have the honor and privilege, and I just feel so grateful to them that I get to design a pattern each month of whatever choosing I would like, and so they send me this yarn that I can just play and design, and I had a really fun time making this blanket with those beautiful colors. So it is a, let's see, the size 3 weight, so it's very light. I am using a G-sized hook. So very, very dainty and delicate, which is perfect for the little petals, daisy stitch, whatever that you want to call this, the petal pattern. I found it in 2 different stitch books called Petal Pattern. And then I saw it someone said that it was in a leisure arts leaflet. You could probably, I'll put the link to that too on Ravelry. I didn't investigate further. I'm assuming it's out of print. So anyway, and it was just the stitch, and I am turning it into a blanket, and I'm creating a hopefully somewhat easy border. So what I'm going to show you today is just starting with a series of chains, 11 plus 3. So that's the pattern repeat. So I'm going to make 36 chains. So when I get to that, I will come right back. Okay, so the pattern repeat, 11 plus 3. So 11 times 3 is 33. Plus 3, 36. So that's the swatch that I'm going to have you start out on. I, again, highly recommend that you just start here if you've never seen this stitch before. You're going to work 1 single crochet into the first chain from the hook. You are going to chain 1, skip the next one, and work into the next one with another single crochet. Then you're going to chain 3, skip 3, work into the next. You're going to do that again. Chain 3. Oh, darn it. Get my yarn all ready to go here. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, work into the next. Now you will only chain 2. Skip over 2, work into the next chain with a single crochet. Now we're back to those 2 sets of chain 3s. Skip over 3, single crochet. Let's do another set of chain 3s. 1, 2, 3, skipping into that next one. And now we will do just 2 chains. So it's kind of a pattern of 3, 3, 2. You will get used to that. You'll use this again. Here we go. Let's work those final patterns of 3. Now hopefully you'll get one more in here of 3. You should. This very 1, 2, 3. Yes, go into the next, and you should have 2 chains left. And that will mirror the start of the chain, where you will just chain 1 and skip over the next one and single crochet into the very last chain. There we go. That is row 1. For row 2, you're going to chain 3 and turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. In this first chain space, that means not the single crochet, but that chain space that is over the chain that we skipped in that first row, you are going to work your first double crochet 2 together cluster. This is what makes the little petals. They're just little clusters. Okay, and you are going to chain 2 in between each one of them. And you're right back in that same space. Let's work another cluster. Okay, so a double crochet 2 together. There you go. You have your first 2 petals. Now you're going to chain 1, and you are going to skip this single crochet and these chain 3s, find that next single crochet and work a single crochet right into it. Kind of gets those that petal to lay down. Chain 1 again, and now you are going to skip this chain 3 space and find the chain 2 space. You'll always work into those chain 2 spaces. And here we go with our first little petal. So it's a double crochet 2 together cluster with 2 chain 2s in between. And we're going to do this so that there's 4 petals in each chain 2 space. Oops. And they will always be separated by 2 chains. That you will find consistent throughout the whole pattern. So remember that. Here's my third. This is the last time we'll chain 2. Let's get one more in there. That will be 4. Now, instead of chaining 2, because we're done, we're just going to chain 1. Just like we did before, we're going to skip that next single crochet and those 3 chains. We're going to find that single crochet and work right into it. Now we'll chain 1 and immediately skip over and find that chain 2 space. Let's make another petal. We're going to work 4 of these in here, separated by 2 chains. So there's 1. There's 2. I tell you, it will get much easier. This is always just that base row. Be patient with yourself. This is dainty yarn. Looks like I've got to be patient here. Oh my word. There we go. A little tricky. There we go. Last chain 2. Let's work one more petal in there. Always want to make sure you have 4 petals or 4 double crochet 2 together clusters worked into those chain 2 spaces. Now we'll chain 1, skip over the single crochet and those chain 3s, look for this single crochet. Now we want to finish, and then chain 1, sorry. We want to finish the way we started. So now we're going to look for that chain 1 space. Skip, skip. We're going to work right into that. We're just going to work our 2 petals, always separated by 2 chains. Let's work one more into that space. And then to finish the round, what we're going to do is just work 1 double crochet into that single crochet. However, it's time to change colors already. So you've got your work 2 double crochet, chain 2, then just 1 double crochet right into that final single crochet spot of that round. Now stop right there, lay the new color over your hook, and simply pull it through. There you go. Now you can cut off your gray for right now. You won't be able to carry it up the side or anything. So this is an end that will have to just get woven in later. And that's row 2. Okay, so we've pulled through with our new color. Let's get started on row 3. We will chain 1 and turn. And we're going to single crochet right into that double crochet, the top of that double crochet we just made. Okay, just with a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to right into the top of those clusters work 4 clusters. No chaining in between these ones. We're just going to go for it. So what I mean by the top of the cluster is, so those are the 2 chains that separate. You're going to come right over into that stitch right there. That's the top of the cluster. There's our second one. Let's go find our third one. Not the single crochet, not those chains. Over here. There you go. Let's find one more. The top of that. Now, we've got our 4. Let's finish it with a chain 3. And you are going to find the 2 chain space right there and work a single crochet, and then chain 3 again, and now go back and work clusters into the top of the clusters, 4 of them, just like we just did. Hope you're able to see as I'm working here. Oh, this yarn is just so dainty. But get a couple rows under your belt and then it won't be, you'll have some base that won't be so tricky to work with this yarn. Okay, there's our 4th one. Let's end with the chain 3 and then work the single crochet right there in the chain 2 space that is in the middle of those petals. Chain 3 again, and let's start working on the next 4. I believe. Yeah, we have 4 left to finish the round. Fill this up over here. One more, the last one of that round. There you go. And to finish it, chain 3, working, oh, whoops. Is that right? Yes, I believe so. Yeah, we want to chain 3, and then we want to end the round by working 1 single crochet into the top of that turning chain, which mirrors how we started this. There we go. That's the end of row 3. Okay, row 4. It's going to start by chaining 1 and turning, and you are going to immediately single crochet right into that single crochet we just made, and then you will chain 3, and here's where our 3-3-2 pattern comes back into play. You'll see. Now you're going to skip over these 3 chains and you're going to work a single crochet right in the top of that first cluster and just chain 2. I kind of always think it's chaining 2 across, and then find that last one and work a single crochet. Now we're going to chain 3, and you'll notice it's over those 3 chains, single crochet into that top of that single crochet right there, chain 3, find the first cluster, work a single crochet, just chain 2, and then skip over 2 clusters, find the next one. Now chain 3 and work a single crochet right there. Chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3. Work to the first cluster, chain 2, skip 2, work into the next cluster, just a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then simply single crochet into the last single crochet space. And that's row 4. All right, row 5 starts with a chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet right into that last single crochet that we just made. Then we will chain 1, and we are going to skip all these chain 3s in that one, and we're going to find that chain 2 space. We've got some petals to make. So you are going to just skip all over that, find that big chain 2 space, and make your first double crochet 2 together. We will chain 2 in between, and you know where I'm going with this, right? We have 4 of these to make. And they're separated, each one of them are separated with 2 chains. Okay, got 1 more to go, just get me some slack here. So here we go, 2 more chains, and here's our last cluster or petal. Now we'll just chain 1, skip over all those 3 chains, find the single crochet, work a single crochet, chain 1 again, skip over those 3 chains and find the chain 2 space and start working your petals. Chain 2 in between each petal. Don't forget, they start with a chain 1, but then they've got 2 chains in between. Last one. Sometimes I adjust, whatever. Get that worked out. Perfect. End with 1 chain, 1 single crochet into that single crochet, 1 chain. Find that last chain 2 spot. Yes, and make sure you work those 2 chains in between each petal. Now, the only problem I had with this is that, boy, it sure was tricky to just memorize how each row ended. That really was the tricky part for me. The middle part, you know, you're just repeating this pattern over and over. So hopefully you'll do better than me, but I did have to keep this pattern close by, which you can always look on my Instagram account, Daisy Farm Stitches, and it is, each step is posted there. Okay, it says then, pulling through with a new color. So here we go. We chained 1. We're going to skip over those and we will work 1 single crochet. But right now we're going to stop. Our little, our daisy is made. So I'm going to pull through with a new color. And I always switched back to gray for my pattern, I'll do a row of gray, and then I would switch to the white. So the peach and white alternated, but the gray was always in between. So I'll just switch back to gray for you. And, oh, that was the end of row 5. So you can pause and practice that if you need to. Okay, row 6. It starts with 3 chains and then turning. Here we go. Should seem a little bit familiar. We've done this before, I think. Well, no, we haven't actually. Sort of, half of it. We're gonna find those clusters and just work a cluster right into the top of them. We will not be chaining in between these ones. We will just skip right over to the next one. Work the next one. Right into the top of that other cluster. Now we'll do some chains. We'll chain 3 and we will work a single crochet right there. And then we'll chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And now we'll go, now this should seem familiar. We're gonna do those 4 clusters right in a row, no chaining in between these ones. Skip over. See how I've done that? Just skip right over. Find that 4th one. One, 2, 3, 4. Now I will chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Find that space, the chain 2 space in between the other 2 petals. That's where I'm putting it. And I'm chaining 3 again. Now I'm on my way. Working into the top of each cluster. I keep saying cluster, petal, double crochet 2, all means the same thing. Just remember, don't chain in between these ones that are going through the valleys, maybe. When you're making the lower portion of the petal, no chaining in between. Keep them together. Your chains come right here. 1, 2, 3, single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Almost there, guys. This is row 6. One more row to show you. And then we will be repeating from, I believe, row 2. I'll have to double check on that. Here we go. We're at the end of the row. And then we're done. All you have to do is double crochet right into that stitch right there. Row 7, here we come. Okay, row 7. It starts with a chain 1 and turn. We are going to single crochet right into the top of that double crochet we just made. We will chain 1. We're going to skip this double crochet. We will single crochet into the top of the next one. Okay, look, should seem a little familiar. Now we will chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the top of that, single crochet right there, chain 3, skip 3 chains, find that first cluster. Here we go. We are making the chain 2 spaces across the middle of the flower. 1, 2, skip 2 clusters, find the next one. There we go. You're off and running. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, now while I was off camera, I did clip off the orange. So like I say, there's no carrying yarn up the sides or anything. You'll just have to clip those colors off and use them and weave them in later. Here we are at the end, chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the top of that turning chain. Or cheat like I do and go underneath it. No, don't cheat. I just cheat. Okay, look at that, 7 steps. Now you will go back to row 2 and repeat. And just make sure you'll know when to change colors because you'll see that the daisy is complete. Okay, so I am going to work off camera a few more rows and I will come back and I will show you how I worked the border. Okay, I'm just popping back on for a minute before I start weaving in all of these ends to show you my completed swatch. Now, I just had a major revelation that I'm going to have you stop and I will write the blanket pattern this way because honestly, I filmed the videos first before I write the blog post. I'm going to have you stop at row 7 on your last row because look at how this ends with a straight row and you've got the straight row mirrored down here. Now in my blanket, I am thinking, oh my gosh, why did I make myself work so hard? See, I thought this is the bottom. Here, let me show you the top. I've completely finished a row of daisies here and now I don't think I needed to do that. I think it would have been just fine to end right there and then you'd have even. See, I went through and filled that all in. But for ease, I don't think that is actually necessary. And that actually makes the blanket look more even. So, lucky, lucky. Okay, so, and before, one other thing, I wanted to show you in case you are a beginner or have never seen someone weave in the ends, because that's always mentioned. You're going to find a hook. I mean, this isn't my favorite needle. I have lots of other needles that are, but a blunt tip needle, big eye, and you're going to simply, when I mean weave in ends, just go work these ends back and forth through a lot of the stitches. This makes them way more secure than crocheting over them while you're in the process. I used to do that until I saw a blanket that I had made for one of my nieces and all of the ends were hanging out. They hadn't come undone, but they were hanging out. And so ever since I saw that, I just go ahead, I make peace with the time that it takes to weave these in, and I just do it. So I just go back and forth several times. This will probably be the last time I do this one. So you kind of counted how much I did, and that's it. I will cut this off as close to the fabric as I can, kind of, hide it in there, and that's it. That won't come in. Okay, so I will weave in all these other ends, and now I'll be back to show you how I did the border. And I'm so happy I discovered that for you. This will be way easier. Okay, I'm gonna start the border in that very last spot that we ended up in. I wove in that end already, but I guess technically if you're gonna do your border in gray, you could have just left it. So I will be chaining 3, and then right into that very same spot, I will work my first double crochet. Now here's how you're going to keep the border fairly even. So you're going to skip over those single crochets and you're going to work 3 double crochets where there's 3 chains. Okay? And then skip over the single crochet and work 3 more into this chain 3 space. And then obviously work 2 double crochet into the chain 2 space. And that is what I did do on the other blanket, and that seemed to give me a very nice even border. Borders are so tricky. If that's not working for you and you find, look at that, I did a cluster. My brain is wanting to cluster when I do these double crochets. There we go, I work 2. work 3. So I essentially skipped over the single crochets. And then I will put 3 double crochets into each corner to turn the corner. And down the sides is where I will just work as evenly as possible. Okay, I better stop talking because I keep doing clusters. So I will come back and I'll show you how to join in that corner. Okay, so I've worked around the whole blanket with double crochet. And keep in mind that you do, I guess as I was working this, I was thinking, you know, if you don't know the rule, kind of it's 1 double crochet per single crochet when you're working on the sides, and 2 for the sides, the posts. That kind of gets it somewhat even. So you've got your 3 in the corner. Now you are free to continue with whatever border you would like to do. If you enjoy the double crochet and you want to do another round of it, feel free. Just, you know, obviously increase in the corner with a double crochet. Let me show you how I join here though. Obviously this is the chain 3 we started with, and then the double crochet right into the same stitch. So I finish making the 3rd double crochet at the end of the round. Then I slip stitch and chain 1, and I do turn. Now, if I was continuing with double crochet, I would do the same thing with chain 3, but I think single crochet looks pretty nice here. So what I'll do is I'll just start right back into that stitch with a single crochet and work around and all the way down the side, and I will put 3 single crochets in this corner and in this corner and in this corner, work all the way back down and get my extra ones and join with a slip stitch and turn. Don't be too hard on yourself at those corners. You'll get it. It'll look fine. Okay, I know that this can be really tricky. This is 7 rows. This is by far not a beginner pattern. If you were a beginner and you were attempting this, give yourself more practice. And don't get frustrated, please, because this is a lot of, you know, this took me a while to work up to learn the skills to do this pattern. So I don't want you to think that this was something very beginner and off the top of my head. This is a lot of hours of practice went into this one. So to get it just right. A little bit, I want to say one more thing about this yarn is that to soften it up, I just actually spritz it with my spray bottle and threw it in the dryer, and it turned out really nice. And then after, to get my nice straight edges and stuff, I laid it on the blocking boards, sprayed it one more time, and let it lay flat to dry. But this is quite a bit softer than the original because I've just thrown it in the dryer and stuff. So anyway, I hope that you I wish you all the success in making this petal stitch blanket. It turns out beautiful. So thank you so much for leaving comments and continuing to understand that these are just my blankets I'm making in hopes to be a grandma one day. I'm just so happy to share and excited that so many people like what I'm designing, and I am grateful to Yarnspirations for sending me this yarn to play with. All the links and everything will be included in the blog post. All right, thank you.